Hello, Zeb Aurelios from Star Wars Rebels, and you're listening to Inside the Force. Carabas. Gotta go, Hera's here.
It is a period of Star Wars mania, as new movies, comic books, novels, and TV shows populate the system. Fueled by their love and passion for the galaxy far, far away, two exceptional geeks tap into hundreds of holocrons in order to bring you the knowledge and insight of all things Star Wars. Come and join them as they go inside the Force.
What's up, everyone? Dave Cottingham here with Casey Cooley.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Inside the Force. Also on this episode, Cody Geiler.
Hey.
And Russell Johnson.
What's up, everybody?
We are bringing you a special edition episode of Inside the Force, as you very well know, all because of the first image and trailer that we've got for Solo, a Star Wars story. I still keep wanting to say Han Solo.
I know.
The whole time.
Solo. I've called it the Han Solo movie to like friends, just because it's easier for them to understand.
I'm going to call it the entitled Han Solo film. So.
Oh, jeez.
Thanks for joining us. This special edition episode really is, honestly, truly, it was all going to be about one thing, this Han Solo trailer. But we're going to knock out real quick. It's going to be about 1.5 topics here because I got some major news dropping today, this being Tuesday, February 6th. First off, we got that creators of the Game of Thrones series, David Benioff and D.B. Weiss, are now commissioned to write and produce a new series. Don't know how many. A new series of Star Wars films. Go.
Well, still trying to pick up my jaw off the floor from when I saw that announcement earlier. I mean, at first I was listening to that Star Wars show and thinking, oh, great, they're going to do the new TV show, the new live-action Star Wars TV show. And then they said films, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I love Game of Thrones, so I'm excited. We'll see.
Has everybody seen and is caught up on Game of Thrones?
I haven't seen.
You haven't seen any Game of Thrones?
Like most of first season 1. That's about it.
Oh, Ross, you're up to speed on Game of Thrones?
I'm up to speed, man.
I don't care what you say.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. No, Game of Thrones obviously is a very just incredibly popular series right now. But Case, what do you think? News?
I mean, a lot this week in general, but just a lot today, which is very surprising and awesome and shocking. But I hate to criticize something, but like, why can't Star Wars show do more of this kind of breaking news, thing? But that's some may say neither here nor there. But very excited. These guys, the Game of Thrones guys. You can speak some about writing for television and writing for movies is different, but still, I feel like that their style of storytelling, their skill of storytelling will translate a lot into Star Wars very well. So I'm excited about that. Don't know if that necessarily means we'll get like a medieval type of Star Wars movie or what. I mean, it's kind of like pigeonholing these guys into one specific type of genre, I feel like, but within Star Wars. So, they could totally do something different, something really cool that we don't even know about. So who knows with that? But the other stuff with the live action stuff, I mean, gosh, we'll try to hit it. Let's try to focus on one at a time. But
right.
Game of Thrones, I'm excited about it. But it's still early, so we'll see.
Russ?
It was pretty cool. I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, and I think these guys, if you've watched all of Game of Thrones, those who have, it's a pretty complex story.
Right.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of characters. There's a lot of different sub-stories going on, and they do a really good job, especially since they've kind of gone away from the books themselves, which were hard enough to kind of translate because there's so much going on. But when they kind of started going their own direction with the story, it got a little more cohesive. I think fans, my wife, who's a big fan, who's read all the books, she really liked when they started to kind of do their own thing and started to wrap up some actual storylines. Like the books just kind of go. There's never really any kind of, resolution to a lot of these things. So the fact that they started doing this, she really got into it, and I really got into it because I've only watched the show. So I think they're really good storytellers. Be interesting to see what they get to do. Like I say, I think they're good at I can tell they're very good at very complex storytelling. So be interesting to see what they do. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm still like you, Cody. I'm still just kind of just highly surprised that we got this announcement just a day after the trailer hit, for which we were going to talk about. But
Yeah.
I feel like that there's so much going on in social media and people talking and reviewing all this stuff, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, we got more movies coming from these guys. It's like, what? And it kind of made sense after talking to I can't remember who at the office mentioned it, that they were like, I think it was actually us talking about how, well, what, is this? Could it be that they're working on the next Obi-Wan movie?
Yeah.
That's theoretically being worked on in development, even though Lucasfilm hasn't officially announced that. Which I don't think so, but because they're not. They're not done with Game of Thrones yet, right?
No.
I mean, Game of Thrones.
they have one more season to go.
They're filming the last season.
They're filming it right now, right?
Currently?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
Currently,
Yeah, and it's
Yes.
not getting released till next year.
Right.
it's not getting released till 2019. So
Right.
once they're wrapped up with that show, then they can move on with.
See, I don't think they're going to even start doing anything until 2019. Meaning that I think we're getting Obi-Wan in 2020.
Yeah.
So I think that announcement, I think they're not attached to that. I think we're going to get but someone, I think you mentioned, well, why aren't they announcing anything Obi-Wan? I just don't think they have anything signed yet with, stuff like this gets announced when they start signing contracts. Ryan Johnson's announcement, because he probably signed on. I just don't think they have a director yet for Obi-Wan. I don't think they have Ewan McGregor technically attached.
Do you think they have a writer like working on a script?
I don't. I don't know. I think they got the story group kind of mashing up what they think is going to be the story, or what can be the story. Because, just think about it. You're jumping into a time frame that has, a lot in the beginning and a lot in the end. So you have to be careful with what he does, because you've seen him now in Rebels, where he is 2 years before A New Hope. And and no one, apparently right now, there's no story of him being seen or anywhere else outside of Tatooine. So does he leave Tatooine? Does he? Anyway, kind of getting off subject, but that's to come, I'm sure. But we'll get to there with that. But I'm excited about this. And then just real quick, I'll read Iger's statement about it. He said that their interest was in creating a series of films that was Star Wars based. And we've actually been talking to them for a long time. To my knowledge, they didn't express interest in creating a series. They have an idea for a number of films, and at some later date, I'm sure we'll disclose to all of you just what those are. They are focused on a point in time in the Star Wars mythology and taking it from there.
Yeah.
Obviously, got brought up Old Republic.
Yeah. People are reading into it's like a point in time as if like, oh, does that mean history? Does that mean like back in time? But
That's right.
I mean, with their
it's all much.
with their expertise, with their background in Game of Thrones, it seems like it would be very easy for them to do the Old Republic, to do something that's a little more medieval meets Star Wars kind of feel. But yeah, I don't know. I just had like a wild thought. If they're doing multiple films and their forte is in television and writing these series, now their last season is going to be like 1.5-hour episodes, which are basically short movies.
Yeah, that's right.
What if they develop movies for the Disney streaming service?
That's very true. That's absolutely exclusively for that. Yeah. That's that's not a bad idea. I mean, considering now how much budgets have risen for TV shows like Game of Thrones and all these HBO and Showtime series, because they're shorter seasons, 10-episode, 8-episode seasons. Like Game of Thrones is, I think 8 episodes usually. I think a season.
It's usually
10, but they were 8 this last one.
Yeah, so you can throw $5 million at an episode and still only get to that, $50 million mark. It's pretty good for TV, but it's not like a $200 million Solo movie or something like that, right? So actually, that's probably going to be like $300 million.
They're going to have larger budgets, which is probably going to help them for what they're used to working on Game of Thrones.
And I'd say more like probably like $10 million, because I think $10 million is what Lucas said would have been his budgets for the live action he was doing years ago, which was way too high. Now $10 million is nothing per episode, So anyway, so the last thing, another quote that just came out literally about an hour before we started recording here was in that same Hollywood Report. Bob Iger was quoted saying that he has revealed that there are multiple live action. I'll say it again. Multiple live action Star Wars TV shows planned for the company's direct-to-consumer digital platform that's set to launch late next year. Though he didn't spill any details, he did promise that an official announcement was forthcoming and that we should, quote, find the level of talent on the television front will be rather significant as well. So, there's that.
Lucasfilm, I will say this, has some job postings on the website for directors for an animated series as well.
There's going to be another anime series.
I'm wondering if
Disney XD is going to have another series.
I mean, they could launch their new streaming service with an animated series they've been working on that nobody knows about.
That's exactly
now
right.
on the live action side, it's going to be a lot harder for them to hide director hires, writer hires, actor hires, casting. That stuff's going to leak.
Totally.
Eventually, if they don't announce it soon,
it's got to be out. It's got to be announced here very soon. I mean, because if it's late next year, I would think fall.
So the service is going to launch next year?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Dang,
2019.
late.
Probably August, September, I think.
Yeah.
When TV series are
I don't
popping
think
up.
that they're going to launch with a live action show.
I do.
I don't think it'll be ready.
I do. I guarantee it. What better way to make people pay right away?
It would be awesome. I would love it. I just don't know the timetable.
They got to shoot it.
Well, I'm saying that I think they'll start creating it like this summer, late this summer. I'm pretty sure we're going to get an announcement like very soon. Like he just said, forthcoming. I think.
Yeah.
I that's why I keep saying I feel like they're going to wait till after Solo, but maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just going to start doing this to blind the fact that the new movie's coming out. And then all of a sudden, people are going to be like, "Oh, I didn't realize that it's Solo. We got to go." And then I don't know. I kind of feel like. Well, let's get into it. So we're getting into the Solo thing now. Getting less than, is it 3 months or 4 months? Less than 4 months now.
Less than 4 months.
Less than 4 months away from April or from May 25th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Do you before we get into the actual trailer, let me know your thoughts on. Do you feel like, I mean, at all? Do you get the sense that Lucasfilm is just throwing this movie out there and not really expecting or caring if this thing makes anything?
I mean, I don't know if they're worried about it not making anything. I mean, at this point, I feel like they're like they're.
I mean, it's safe to say that it's gonna make money, but is it gonna make money? You know what I mean? And I don't know if they're even worried. Do you think they're even worried about it?
I don't think they're worried about it. No, I don't think so. I mean, for the fact that they're doing a young Han Solo movie, I don't think they're worried about anything because that's a pretty risky movie to make. So the fact that they're making it, I think that they're well aware of the possible ramifications, but I don't think they're worried about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they would have hired Ron Howard and let him reshoot what is being rumored as over 50%, potentially up to 70% of the movie being reshot. Mm-hmm. So that budget now just doubled. I don't think that they would double the budget like that if they didn't expect to see some kind of return on that investment.
Yeah, I don't think as a business you can release a movie and not worry about it whether it makes money or not.
Right.
It's because it's not a good business model. Just because, we'll just throw it out there. If it doesn't make any money, so what? Nobody cares. Or it's got Star Wars on it, so people go watch it. But at what time? But at what point? And this is going to get into my whole point about Solo, is that what point will fans who aren't like us, who go see, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, where they're kind of like, I don't really want to see this. Because believe me, there's a segment of the Star Wars community when before any of this ever happened about the expanding universe. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I know nothing about the expanding universe because I didn't care about it. And I'm a big fan. So there's going to be a lot of fans who will plunk down their money to go see Solo because it's Solo, or Obi-Wan because it's Obi-Wan. But at what point do they start to get concerned about, well, who doesn't care about these other things? When does it become just a regular sci-fi movie and not a quote-unquote Star Wars movie? Does that make sense?
Yeah, total sense. But I think that I'm still baffled, to be honest, that they did not move the release date.
Yeah.
Because you have to, these type of movies, you have to build that excitement. And I just don't feel like right now, in a way, I just don't feel like 4 months is enough time, even though it seems like enough time. But they're still promoting The Last Jedi. They're still promoting, like right now, they're actually promoting the Blu-ray coming out. So like everybody's thinking about this Blu-ray and it's coming out in 4K. We haven't had that yet in a Star Wars movie. So they're getting this 4K Ultra Blu-ray coming out of The Last Jedi, April, I think early April, right? So it's like, they're pumping that. And you in April, people are going to be thinking about getting that and throwing it in their, home movies and watching it. Oh, by the way, in a month, there's another movie. But I just don't feel like they've marketed this thing that well. I think it was a mistake, and I hope it doesn't affect the people going. But I just think it was a mistake not showing anything until now, like nothing. Ron Howard. If it wasn't for Ron Howard, we absolutely wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm concerned because I definitely will see it, and if I enjoy it, I'll see it 3 or 4 times. But I feel like you said, Russ, I do feel like there's fans out there that have no interest in seeing it right now. I hear now on social media, you can see some of the tweets. People are like, oh, it actually looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Not expecting it to be any good.
Well, there's a lot of people, like friends of Cody and I, that didn't just like the idea of this movie being made.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about that on the show, but for different reasons. So, I'm officially on board with it now, even though I had a lot of skepticism. But I think they still have time to market though. I think now we're just gonna get
bombarded
a
with
lot.
It. Yeah,
we've already seen a lot of leaks of the toys coming out, so I think we're gonna get a lot of stuff, and I think they're gonna try to make up for that time.
Yeah,
in what short few months we have.
But what do you think we get? One more trailer, 2 more trailers. What do you?
I think we get 2 more.
I was looking at it today, I think, or maybe it was yesterday.
Yesterday,
because we technically got 2 trailers in 2 days because they're not the same.
Did. And I feel like the TV spot's going to get lost in the shuffle because it already in my mind, like I was telling Dave right before we started recording, I've watched the teaser, the actual trailer, more than the TV spot that played during the Super Bowl, and they kind of feel different.
They do feel different.
They are. They even have different line, like different variation of the same line.
Right? Yeah.
Of Han Solo.
But I think Rogue One had 2 full trailers, and I looked back. I mean, I might have to look again at the.
Yeah, well, it had a long teaser, and then it had a trailer, within a year, or I think they started marketing that like 8 months.
Yeah, April,
and they had a behind the scenes,
and they had a featurette.
So maybe that's what's coming next.
May the 4th, I could see them doing a reel. Maybe
May the 4th. Right, that's true. I don't know.
That might be too close. Don't you think we'll have to have another trailer by then?
I think we'll get another trailer, but I'm saying though for the reel or something.
It could be something, maybe.
Something.
I don't know.
I just don't know what big event is coming along where they would normally release a reel, like a con or something. There's local cons. I mean, I think Emerald City cons come, whatever, but
but nothing big.
No, nothing big.
They won't release anything there.
No. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know what else is besides like May the 4th. I can't think of another a day. Like Star Wars. Well, what is Star Wars like? A New Hope Day, like Star Wars
25th.
25th. Oh, that's the actual.
It was released May 25th.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there you go.
They'll release a trailer the day the movie comes out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wait.
By the way, go see another movie today. Okay, so let's get into well, let's just open it up really because I'll go through here and maybe point out some stuff, but let's just get everybody's overall opinion of what you saw both Sunday and Monday of the teaser and or trailer. Ross, go ahead.
The teaser I enjoyed more. I agree with Cody. The teaser and the actual full trailer feel different to me. I liked the teaser because it didn't show a whole lot. It gave me some cool visuals. I like to see some of the new characters, things like that. That was cool. We really didn't get a sense of, Han. And the full trailer I liked less than the teaser, simply because now that I've seen, and this is, I don't want to go too deep dive here, but Han Solo himself, and here's a problem I have with sequels in general, and this goes back to the 1 through 3. When you have a character like Han Solo, who to me is a fully formed character, he's nuanced, he's layered. We understand when we meet him the first time why he shoots first, why he is kind of a jerk, why he is kind of the scoundrel. In this one, I feel like this doesn't have to be a cheap imitation of Harrison Ford. I don't really expect that necessarily, but I don't feel like I'm getting the Han Solo I know now. I feel like I'm getting the guy, like we've stripped him down. He wants to be a pilot. He wants to be this. I don't want Han Solo to be a guy who's still forming who he is. He's still growing up, doesn't have that swagger. He's going to get there, but I don't really care about that. I care about the Han Solo that I know.
Right.
The guy that has the swagger and is kind of a jerk now, as the young Han Solo, he's just kind of a jerk. He hasn't seen the kind of stuff he's seen to be the jerk who has that confidence. And again, the guy who shoots first. And you kind of think he's cool, because again, when you do prequels, you got to strip these characters down. You got to strip off all the stuff that makes them who they are. And I don't necessarily know that I need that. So again, I like seeing Chewie, stuff like that. But again, Dave, we talked about this earlier today about how like some of the stories that are coming out with the comics,
yeah,
they're just trying to shoehorn them in this little box they have to put it in, and it doesn't always make it interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm like you guys. I don't think I was necessarily a huge fan of this idea from the get-go. I want it to be good, and visually, I think some of the stuff that's in there looks really cool.
Yeah.
Visually, it looks awesome. That kind of stuff. But again, I don't know that I'm really down with Han as the character, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
What I've seen so far just doesn't get me really fired up. Because it's got like Woody Harrelson's character is like, hey, I'm forming a team. Again, I feel like it's more like it feels more like. Well, it feels like Star Wars was the movie that every other movie wanted to be, and now it feels like some of these Star Wars movies are trying to be what like Guardians of the Galaxy is now. Hey, I'm forming a team. We're going to get the crew together. We're going to see all these new characters. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I need that. I don't know if I need that. So
interesting.
That like I say, Han. And one thing I really didn't like. I'm kind of stealing this from a guy's review that I saw, but it really made a good point. When I saw Lando, he looks cool, but I'm kind of surprised he didn't say anything in the trailer. We got Han saying stuff, we got Chewie saying something, but I'd like to see Donald Glover looks cool as Lando, but is he gonna have the voice of Lando?
Yeah.
Like I want this guy to have the voice of Han Solo, which I don't feel he has yet. I feel like because Lando, maybe he suave, cool, is that going to be there? Or is he just going to be like, hey, I'm going to get to be the suave, cool guy on the cloud planet? I mean, I don't know. So
starts out as Urkel and then he becomes
exactly.
Lando.
I mean, I just don't know.
What have we here?
But part of the trailer was like when they're in the Millennium Falcon, they're flying. Everybody's in the ship with them together. I mean, we're all there for the first time in that big, huge, chaotic scene at the end of the trailer. And then Lando, everybody's like, whoa, but I wish they didn't show the tentacle monster they're flying through. Like it was cooler not knowing what it was.
Yeah.
Like everybody, because for Han to say, "Oh, we're okay. It's okay. We're okay." I'm like, "What? What the hell is that?" He wouldn't say that. But to have him, I like the fact that I was like, "Oh, something bad is happening in front of them." This is when they could kind of, I don't know, form as a team. I don't know, but it seemed like that was a cool moment. And then to show me what it was kind of like, okay, you didn't have to show me what it was.
Yeah.
Let me see it in the movie. Let me see what it was in the movie. I'd rather not know what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't mean to sound like a wet blanket because I do like. I mean, I like Emilia Clarke's character. I don't know anything about her. I think she'll be cool. She visually looks different from most characters we've seen in Star Wars. So she looks more like kind of a glamorous.
Yeah,
woman.
I read something on the side note real quick. I read something someone tweeted about how they're going to explain. Apparently, one of her outfits on there has a zipper, and we've never seen a zipper in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, someone's going to have to explain where the zipper came from.
Hey, yeah.
But I'm interested in what her character is, and again, I want it to be good. I'm going to go see it. I hope it's good.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of my gut reaction from the trailer. Like, I didn't just like jump up and freak out and be like, "Yes, we got a solo movie." Like, I don't know. It just didn't really didn't give me that emotion. Honestly, it seemed like just another cool, hip sci-fi movie. Didn't really feel like a Star Wars movie necessarily. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Does.
Yeah.
Cody?
I mean, to what Russ said about the difference between the full teaser and the TV spot, I actually had the opposite reaction to them. I mean, they definitely feel different. I didn't like the TV spot as much. It felt really bleak. It was kind of Imperial focused. We didn't really see much of Han.
No.
He kind of talked a little bit, but like I had no idea if he was doing a good job as Han because he said a couple lines and then they had that shot of him at the end and just like, what's your name or whatever he says.
Yeah.
But it just felt so like bleak and like hopeless, and I didn't really like the whole look of the TV spot. And then when you see the teaser, it still has some of that aesthetic. The cinematography looks great, but it felt a lot more, there's shots like of his blaster holder that feel like a Western.
Correct.
And then I was really on board with the feel and the look, and I was like, okay, if this is like a Western, there's like a scene where it looks like Woody Harrelson's up on top of a train fighting that dude who looks kind of like
that's in the TV spot.
A masked version of Rufio or whatever.
Yeah. Right.
What is it? Pablo referred to him as a mash basically between Darth Revan and Dash Rendar. Dash Revan.
He does
Dash
call him.
Revan.
His mask
Wow.
looks like
and
Revan
like the shoulder
a lot.
pads, kind of just very
Interesting.
smuggler-esque. Anyways,
I have a theory about that, but go ahead.
But I feel like that whole like sort of train heist, they're going on some kind of heist, they're trying to like steal something, Western feel, sort of action adventure. That's a movie that I would want to see. Like less than a sci-fi or just a Star Wars comedy, which is what we thought we were going to get with Miller and Lord.
Yes.
Which I like Miller and Lord. I like the Lego movie. Still don't really understand why they're taking off, but I'm excited to see what Ron Howard does. The movie looks amazing. Bradford Young, the cinematographer, same guy that was the cinematographer for Arrival. That movie's amazing, and it looks fantastic. So I think, it's in good hands right now. Everything looks great. As far as Alden as Han, I think the full teaser gave us a little more feel for some of his dialogue, the mannerisms. He has a couple of, facial expressions and things that I think look like Harrison Ford. And I'm glad that he's doing, not doing Harrison Ford impressions.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's doing his own thing. And I think the main thing I'm trying to go into with this movie, I'm trying to sort of take Kylo's advice. Let the past die. Just give Alden his chance to do what he can with the role. It's kind of like Heath Ledger playing the Joker, and then we turn around and have Jared Leto play the Joker. You can't be better than Heath Ledger. You got to do something different. Harrison Ford is the coolest dude in the world.
Yeah.
You can't get better than him acting wise. So you got to do something different. Now, there's some inconsistencies even within the two different teasers. We talked about, Casey and I, about a couple line deliveries of him saying, I'm going to be a pilot. I'm going to be the best pilot in the galaxy.
Yeah.
One of them, he does that gravelly Harrison Ford.
Yeah, it was like best in the galaxy.
And the other one, he has a totally different delivery. So they're pulling from different takes as they're kind of, editing these teasers. And a little bit worried that maybe because of the director change and because not knowing what Miller and Lord were doing and what Ron Howard's doing, that maybe throughout the movie there may be scenes where you're like, oh, that feels kind of like a fun comedy. Oh, now it feels more like a action adventure Western. Hopefully the movie doesn't feel split like that throughout, but I'm a little concerned about that. Overall, though, I think it looks great. I love seeing Lando. Like Russ said, would have been cool to hear him say, "Hello, what
Yeah.
have we here?" or something. You know, some suave, cool. But he looks so cool and comfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks like
Yeah.
Lando. I think Donald Glover's going to be great. I mean, there's some really cool shots, just like the silhouette of Han walking up to what's probably going to be the Sabat game that wins him the
Yeah.
Falcon. I mean, that's going to be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think musically, though, it wasn't up to par for a Star Wars trailer. And I think, Russ, you said that emotion wasn't there at the end. That sequence in the cockpit was fun. It feels like Star Wars, a crew that's together. You know, Han's, saying it's going to be okay, and then something happens, it's not okay, and then they're all yelling. That feels like Star Wars. You know, something goes wrong, they're on an adventure together. But the music at the end didn't swell the way that, throughout.
Yeah.
It was kind of like this ticking and this. It was good music, but it didn't feel like Star Wars. The Rogue One trailer really used those familiar themes on the piano and just kind of shifted them a little bit
was awesome.
to play on your heartstrings. And I think coming off of The Last Jedi, I still think it's a good film, not my favorite. I want a little more nostalgia in my Star Wars.
I agree.
I want a little more old school John Williams score in my Star Wars trailers. I want to see the Falcon flying through whatever that black hole looking thing is with big John Williams music playing. I think they kind of missed the beat there at the end with the music, but
That's a good point.
but I mean it was a really good teaser. I'm excited about the movie.
The only thing I'll say about that is before you go, Case, is the comparisons with Alden and like the Joker things you just said. Like I don't think you can say that. Mainly because the Joker thing, it'd be more the same if Jared Leto was in the sequel replacing Heath Ledger, because they're different Jokers.
Yeah.
So I feel like you can't really make that comparison, because this is the same Han Solo. This is supposed to be the same Han Solo.
Right.
And the likeness of Harrison Ford is etched in the history of Star Wars. And that's where, and I'm sure we'll get into this, Casey, when you start talking, because we've always had this issue of how old is Han Solo in this movie? Because we're getting conflicting reports now. I was pointing out to him on Twitter, texting him last night, that this whole time it's been that Han Solo in A New Hope is late 20s, 28, maybe 29.
Yeah.
But apparently Pablo, the ultimate canon, story group, apparently, he tweets out, I see a response from him yesterday that in A New Hope, Harrison Ford's in his early 30s.
Han Solo.
I'm sorry.
I mean,
Han
Harrison
Solo.
Ford is.
He is.
Like 30,
he was.
30,
but
yeah. Han Solo's in his 30s.
Han Solo's in his 30s, like 33-ish.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Which, I mean, that's a 5-year difference. That's pretty big. Because if you think about it, we're assuming that in this movie he's early 20s, 2021 age, that age you
like
said the Star
Bob
Wars.
Iger, Bob Iger was saying like 18 to 24. It seems like he might be a little younger than that, I hope. But yeah, that Magic Star Wars age is like 19 to 21.
19 to 21, right?
It's like a 10-year gap between this and A New Hope.
8 to 10.
Now
possibly.
they're saying maybe 12 if he's 20, 21, and he's
Yeah.
33
Yeah.
in A New Hope.
So,
you're talking about
possibly,
But on the Wikipedia canon page, it says that Han Solo was born 29 years before A New Hope.
But I'm not sure where they get, because I've never seen definitively.
You have not seen that, correct?
I don't know how they're
so
deducing
that
that.
might not be. But apparently, again, I don't know for sure, but apparently Leland, his job is to actually make sure canon Wikipedia is up to date. So he's in that 30, probably, it sounds like he's in that 32, 33 range now. Which
as I said, though, really quick, is it's never really, like, in terms of like character story, backstory, it's never etched in stone until you see it.
Until you see it.
Or
correct.
I guess in some cases read it, but
Read it
really
or
until you
it.
see it.
Absolutely. So anyway, Casey, you go. I was just saying that I don't know. I just think the likeness of Harrison Ford, and I mean, I can put it aside eventually and watch this thing and accept it for what it is. But it's hard that he doesn't look like Han Solo to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
There was one more thing that I just thought of. One shot where I think Kira is asking Han, or telling Han, I know something about
who you are.
I know who you are.
I know who you
basically.
really are.
And he kind of like lets out a laugh and says like, "What's that?" But it's like it's the mannerism on his face, and I think he did a really good job of this. He kind of lets out this laugh, like he lets like a human sort of moment out, but then at the end of the laugh, he kind of goes back to this hard exterior, which is very much like a Han Solo thing to do. That one shot, his delivery, we didn't see a lot of his dialogue, and you don't see it in sequence of a scene, so you can't really tell how it's going to play, but I did like that. I thought that was really well done.
I mean, Harrison Ford has always been the man's man kind of persona, and him in A New Hope, his first scene in the cantina booth definitely comes across as that, where he's just so stoic and just like you can just look at him, his pose, his posture in the seat, like this guy's a man. Whereas Alden in these trailers definitely feels like a young kid, and Woody Harrelson even calls him kid. So how Harrison Ford called Luke a kid, that age difference there, you think that's going to be something similar. So Han Solo is probably around in his early 20s, late teens in this movie. Yeah, I definitely am now. I feel like I can finally get behind it, because even when the first teaser came out in Super Bowl, I was like, I gotta wait to the full teaser to really figure out. See if I can get my head around what time period it is. And now reading of when it possibly could be, I think I could finally get behind, like, okay, this is a young Han Solo, so I'm okay with him not doing a Harrison Ford voice impression or trying to mimic the mannerisms as much, because I really like going to the Indiana Jones Last Crusade, like River Phoenix did a fantastic job doing the Harrison Ford mannerisms as a young Indiana Jones, where the 2 or 3 shots that Alden has, where I think the 2 shots I could really think of is when he's in his little speeder and he looks over his shoulder and he has like a very stern kind of like his mouth, his lips are pursed together. Like that feels like a Harrison Ford face to me. And then at the end when he is given that line of, everything's fine, we're fine. His like little smirk, his smile there feels Han Solo to me, Harrison Ford to me. Although his voice sounds young. He's a young guy. So I can get behind that now. Where this is like maybe 8, 10, 12 years before. He's young. He's a young Han Solo. So that's fine. Because my whole justification of this movie being made is that, to me, we've never gotten, and Russ, you kind of touched on this, and how you did want to see it, but I do want to see where I do want to see Han Solo, I hate to say coming of age Han Solo, but Han Solo before we get to see him how he is in A New Hope and the rest of the films, because If the original cut stood, if he actually shot Greedo first, then we would have gotten this brutal, savage Han Solo in the very beginning, and then we would have understood his transition to a much more soft, likable, charismatic hero at the end of the film. We don't get that because they re-edit it to where he retaliates in how he shoots. But everything we read of Han Solo in all the books and comics, he's always talking about his life as a scoundrel, as a smuggler, how he kind of misses that life where he's on his own, racing and doing this and that, and getting into mischief and whatnot. But we've never seen that. Like he's always the old smoothie. He's always got a heart. He's falling in love. He's looking after other people besides him and Chewie. So I feel like this movie is a great way to show that rough exterior of Han Solo, and that's his arc. And this one, to me, is that he is that tough guy who is an anti-hero, a true anti-hero, and then that will logically lead into how he is in A New Hope, where he is more of a hero and less of an anti-hero in A New Hope. So that's kind of my whole big soapbox of this movie, and how I'm now finally behind it, and I'm looking forward to it. So I think I'm a proponent now.
Yeah, I think. I enjoyed both. I mean, I enjoyed the TV spot. I enjoyed the teaser. I was highly surprised that we didn't that the teaser or the TV spot that we saw isn't just a throwaway TV spot, and that the teaser is just an extended version of it. It actually is a different.
There's different shots,
promo of it, so you have both to kind of watch. I didn't like at first on Sunday that I didn't hear him like get a good scene of him. The teaser we did, talking to Woody Harrelson, and then of course talking to Emily Clark. Is it Emily or Amelia? Amelia Clark. So I'm with you. I'm with everybody. I mean, I'm excited to see it. I think that I think it does look fantastic. I actually think it looks better than what Rogue One. When I first saw Rogue One's trailers, I loved and I agree with you too, Cody. I loved the feel of the Rogue One trailers better. It felt really Star Warsy to me, and I got pulled. There's that one trailer where the music kind of blends and swells, and it's that old kind of binary kind of sound.
Yeah.
It's like, and I tear up a little bit every time I see it. So I didn't feel that either here. I didn't feel that connection here. Although I wish I do. I hope that this is. I just hope this is a emotional, adventurous, fun movie. That's all I really care. It doesn't have to be a big epic like Episode 3 or or even like a brand new retelling like Force Awakens. It just needs to be fun, and it needs to make sense in my mind to where it lands in the canon. So even though I'm still struggling with the fact of what his age is and what his age is in New Hope, I mean, Pablo did assure that a lot of that is going to be resolved and come out.
Right.
So I think once this movie comes out, the encyclopedias will be updated. Like, okay, he was born this year, and this is how old he is. But the fact, and I'm glad it didn't happen anytime near Rebels. Because Lando is in Rebels.
That's it. That's so yeah.
So
that's still an issue for me. Yeah.
Well, according to this now, it literally takes place. So about 6-7 years before Rebels.
Good. Yeah. Good.
So you're talking which means it's about 7 years after Episode 3, right? So you're right in the middle of actually the height of the Empire. You don't really know about the Rebels yet, and there's little cells, but there's no alliance, So anyway, but overall, I'm stoked. Of course I'm stoked. I mean, every Star Wars movie I'm going to go see multiple times, and I'm actually more stoked that it is Ron Howard, because I wasn't that thrilled of these guys doing it. I mean, I was interested. But Ron Howard, I'm very confident in him, obviously. So I think we're going to get a really good movie. Now, so I'll start theorizing about some things, and we can go from there. So the first thing I'll throw out is the guy on top of the train. So my first thought, and then seeing him in the teaser, or seeing him in the full teaser, staring down Han, as Han's reaching for his DL-44, right?
Yeah.
I think is that. I actually, and I don't know what you guys think, but I actually think that those guys are actually the good guys. Could be the good guys. Because Han is on a team of scoundrels and smugglers, right? So they're the bad guys. I kind of think they might be, I kind of get a sense that he might be like a marshal or something.
Yeah.
And he's hunting them down.
Yeah.
That was kind of my initial thought when I saw, because I was wondering why would he be attacking them? On the top of the train. I think that's Woody Harrelson that's on top of the train shooting back.
Yeah, it looks like it is.
Yeah.
When you kind of
So
slow
I'm thinking,
it down.
when I saw that a couple times, I'm like, why would he be attacking them? I was like, he must be trying to arrest them or trying to stop them. So maybe they're actually the police, or they're the marshals, or I don't know, something. They're hunting them down. Is kind of what I'm.
It's a good point. I mean, they definitely feel like, you think about what it looks like, and I think what Kathleen Kennedy's early comments, there's a famous painter, and I'm forgetting the guy's name, that they talked about way before we even got this trailer of what they were forming the movie after. I just kind of forgot about that quote from Kathleen Kennedy. But now that feels kind of like a Western. There's like the sci-fi Western feel.
Right.
That scene in particular where he's going for the blaster and you see them, you see all the other guys behind him, it really does feel like a Cowboys versus Indians. I mean, they kind of look like Indians. They've got like bone and like helmet
fur
and
all this kind of stuff. Yeah.
So the idea of maybe they came to their planet and took something that wasn't theirs.
That's true.
And like you said, he's like the marshal, or he's like this chief or whatever, or he's like this protector of something. I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
My thing was, it's along the same lines. I'm just going to guess, just so I can put a name to it, that planet might be Mimbam, maybe.
Probably.
I don't know, but I kind of thought, those guys, because who knows? I mean, I'm thinking of, if he's the sheriff, he's like a very scary sheriff, because he's in ships, like fighting 3 guys and shooting people. Yeah, but I was kind of thinking, like, maybe whoever they steal, whatever it is, let's say they steal an item from some wealthy guy, I don't know, or some dangerous guy. This guy has his own like private security force or something like that. That's kind of who I was theorizing that this Dash Revan guy and his minions are like this private security mercenary hired by whoever was stolen from to go and find the thieves and bring back the artifact, that kind of thing. So I like the martial idea. That's very Western-y. And so
that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Once Upon a Time. Well,
kind of like Young Guns.
I'm
thinking kind of like Young Guns. Where
Quick and the Dead is what I'm thinking.
Quick and the Dead, yeah.
Gene
But
Hackman
like,
kind of thing.
Like and Young is funny because Young Guns 2 was like on like about a month ago. I was watching it where because that's when like Billy the Kid, his what's the other guy, Pat Garrett, you know, kind of goes against him, and he turns into the marshal that's going after him. Anyway, I kind of got that feeling when I was watching this.
Yeah, Han is very. It seems like Billy the Kid-esque.
Yes, very much.
He's
so.
a young gun. He's
a young gun.
True.
I don't know. What do you think about that, Russ?
You guys put way too much thought into that. I have no idea. Like I have no idea. I'll wait till I see the movie before I decide. I have no idea what that is.
Well, I'm just trying to.
I just don't put that much thought into it. I'm sorry. I just don't.
I'm just trying to figure out.
See that I don't know what. I mean, I agree with everything you say about it. It looks like a Western.
Yeah,
I like the Western feel of it. But again, if it's going to be just a sci-fi action adventure Western, why does it have to be Han Solo?
Yeah.
Why can't it just be a Star Wars movie with different characters?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because that's why I really liked Rogue One, because it was still felt Star Wars-ish, but it had nothing to do with any characters that I'm beholden to.
Yeah.
And because this has a character that I'm beholden to, and you're forced me to look at the Millennium Falcon and Chewie and everything else, it's like, okay, I mean, again, I don't mean to be the wet blanket here, but I just don't. I don't see enough here to make me just like be so on board with everything.
Yeah.
As far as like what the movie is, I like the fact it's a Western. But again, why can't it just be a sci-fi Western that's a Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're obviously cashing in on. They're still cashing in on the original trilogy. It's this whole. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's every Star Wars story has been about that trilogy still.
Yeah.
Either a character or a moment. I mean, Rogue One is centered around obviously the most important moment in the history of. I mean, their timeline is based on the Battle of Yavin, right? Mm-hmm. And the only reason they had that is because they got the Death Star plans. So, but I was just trying to think of, because when I'm watching this, I'm just kind of thinking of usually, you know, obviously you have your bad guys, usually the Empire or it's Vader or it's a Sith. I'm just thinking, I don't think this movie is going to be. I don't think they're going to really mention anything about the Empire except the fact that he was part of the Imperial Navy, and so I think you rule out the Empire being actually kind of the antagonist on this thing, right?
So it looks like
there'll be some conflict.
There's a Star Destroyer chasing him.
Yeah,
through that
the Kessel, right?
Well, that's all part of Kessel. The challenge of the Kessel Run in Legends is that you have to get around first the black holes, but also the Imperial.
Correct. I mean, I think they're going to be
on the Kessel Run,
part of the story that's going to stop them from stealing or stop them from doing their stuff, but. I don't think that's ultimately the bad guys that they're going against. I think, or the good guys, because
it's a team of whatever.
Yeah, right.
I think that's what's interesting is if this. I don't even know what to call this guy. The bone, the mask.
Let's go with Dash Revan.
Dash Revan. If this Dash Revan character, is he the main villain? If not, I think it's really weird that we haven't really gotten a lot of like a main villain, maybe even heard the villain speak.
No.
I mean, that's kind of strange for a first trailer to not really, who's the villain? I don't know. Does this guy ever talk? I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it's almost going to be like this very wealthy and powerful kind of guy. Very much like, again, like Last Crusades, like Donovan in Last Crusade, the main guy who started the whole, quest in the first place kind of thing. So might be like
Jabba,
like a Jabba type of guy. Sure, maybe it is Jabba.
Jabba's rumored to make an appearance.
Yeah,
apparently.
well, some of the toy leaks puts it at Tatooine, Jabba's palace. So.
Okay, so next, obviously controversial shot I want to talk about that I don't know if I'm okay with is obviously the look of the Falcon itself.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Again, I'm
the interior or the exterior?
Both. Okay. I'm because it doesn't look like the Falcon at all to me. I just think that again, I'm a big proponent of the canon, so and it's listed now. I checked, Casey. It's listed on StarWars.com's databank that the Falcon does make an appearance in Episode 3, right? So it's It's the Falcon there that flies on the Coruscant, which looks exactly how it does in episode 4.
Mm-hmm.
So somewhere it's this, right?
This.
I mean, it's white inside.
Mm-hmm.
It's the floor is real shiny and reflective. Now the cockpit looks the exact same, just cleaner. But the controls are all, there is the same. There's a whole different front of it, which Casey has mentioned that maybe it's actually part of the freighter part where it's like it's actually a shipment.
There always is like a almost like a like a slit in between the two
Yes.
fronts. It's always like a little under part where
Correct.
you could fit something in it. So it very well could be. It's like it's cargo.
The cargo.
It's like payload.
Yeah.
Holder.
Well, it's funny because like I have
gets
a
lost.
I have a schematic of the
Yeah, there it is
Falcon
right there.
that I'm pointing at on my wall. No one else
Slides
can
right
see it.
into that little thing.
But on that schematic, if you read there's like some words next to where the entrance is. It talks about how that's where the torpedoes come out of.
Torpedoes. I can't think of where we've seen that, but
In
I'm sure it's
episode
happened.
6, whenever he shoots the center of the Death Star, it comes out of that
Oh.
middle spot.
Okay, modifications. That's a modification.
Right. So did he add that later?
Took out the cargo
because
thing.
if you
Let's
put the
a
cargo
torpedo.
thing there, you're disabling your weapons.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if at the bottom of it,
It
on the
doesn't have
poster,
turrets.
It doesn't have a turret, right?
No.
So it's fully modified. I get it.
Yeah.
But it was modified in episode 3. So
Yes.
there
yes.
needs to be there just has to be an explanation.
Are they just going to
Well,
retcon the episode 3?
unless-
That's,
well-
people mentioned that, but again, it hasn't been like.
Is there a turret on the one in episode 3?
I think it looks exact. The top part, you only see the top.
And it's hard because it's very small, and
is.
there's no like official model from episode 3. However, you could say, well, if that is still Millennium Falcon episode 3, the cargo thing is just removed, and there's no turret there.
You're right.
and it's a different paint
It's
job.
possible.
So you-
It's
So it's just a YT model frame.
Or it could
It's
be
not
it
the
could be
Falcon.
that. It could be
It just
be another
happens to
one.
look exactly
Yeah.
like the Falcon.
yeah. Well, they just have to say that. Take the appearance off. Nah, and I get it. It could not be the Falcon, or it could be
But there's
the freighter
that's a
part is
problem,
not.
though.
That's fine. I get that.
It's a canon problem.
But-
It has to be fixed.
But the conversations that you get in episode 4, and especially in The Force Awakens, it just talked about how this thing is so old.
Yeah.
And if this is only 10 years or so before episode 4, that's not that old.
Yeah.
I mean,
True.
you kind of, in the look of it inside episode 4, it's brown and it's dirty looking. It's,
You ever lived in a Wookiee hut on Kashyyyk?
I don't know. Actually, so it was funny because on Twitter I saw an image of they did a 2 pictures stacked on each
Yeah.
other. One was it was the back of Chewbacca walking into that hallway, that white hallway, and then he like shakes,
Yeah.
and it's brown, and so it's like I get it. I just don't think it doesn't look like a 10-year-old car. I mean,
Yeah.
or a 10-year-old
Right.
aged Falcon. So I don't know. I don't know what everybody thinks about that, but that's
That's good
I
to
had
know.
I had an issue with that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh,
No,
man,
just
man.
like I don't really. Unlike Casey, I don't need to see my Solo come of age, just like I don't need to see my Millennium Falcon come of age. I mean, because I think it would be even more interesting if when he's young, he gets this thing and it's still a hunk of junk. It doesn't work right. You got to keep fixing it. You hit a switch and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You got to override things. It doesn't function properly. I mean, that's again how he manages to survive all this time by being able to fix this crappy hunk of crap. But to have it like be pristine and we got to see it. I don't know. Again, I don't need to see it become what I know it to be at this point. So again, prequels have to strip all that down. Let's make it brand new and shiny. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Make it crappy. Make it.
Yeah,
give
I
him
agree.
something.
Yeah,
give him
I
something.
agree.
Give him something to overcome if he's coming of age. Give him this crappy shit from the get go, and make him deal with it. And make it something he loves because he's got to fix it all the time.
Yeah.
And
So-
no one else wants it.
So
I
again,
mean,
and again, I'm completely theorizing, and I'm just trying to make myself understand the canon, right? So, but one of my initial thoughts was that new Falcon. Maybe that's not the Falcon. Maybe that's like Lando's Falcon, but when he loses it to him, it's not that one. It's actually
he's got a couple Falcons.
Yeah, like he has the old and busted one that he wins.
Yes, I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to bet my good one. I'll bet my crappy one.
Yeah,
New hotness, old and busted.
Yeah.
Is that where you're going?
That's exactly what I'm going with. Because they obviously don't say Falcon, right? They don't say it's a Millennium Falcon, and it's not. Millennium Falcons is just a given name. It's a YT freighter, right? It's a YT 1300 freighter. So I don't know. That's just me kind of trying to justify why it doesn't look anything like it. But maybe
it could get completely busted up.
That's
the
another.
movie.
That's another thing I thought. Maybe it gets damaged and
like those
lands.
tentacles are going to knock some stuff
and
off
you
that
have
ship.
to and you have to rebuild it, and then that's he builds it like that. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't the actual Falcon. That's not the actual Falcon we see him win.
Yeah, I mean, all that brown could be like smoke and fire damage from some crazy crash.
That's actually a good point. I can go with that too.
That's why Lando bets it, because he's like, oh yeah, I'll bet my ship. I don't know.
It's like, this guy doesn't know I just wrecked
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and that's a good reason how it becomes a hunk of junk, right? It gets damaged, blows up, and then he has to rebuild it. And when you rebuild it, because I did read about it on the Databank, how it talks about how he's always constantly modifying it because things just don't work on it. And one of the things it mentions, I think, is that the hyperdrive has never worked right. That's why there's always an issue with the hyperdrive. He's never been able to really put that together correctly, right? So, but I don't know if it seems like it. So, okay, so what else? I mean, well, one thing I do hear about, I read about on social media a lot, and we've seen it before, but we haven't really talked about it in here, is a lot of people think the logo is actually just too plain.
Oh, wow. How have we not talked about it? The title sucked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cody and the Star Wars titles.
Flashback to Rogue One. We're sitting in the theater, and then like a 14-year-old in After Effects made the title 30 minutes before they put it in the theaters, and it's like, oh, this is good enough. We'll do the Star Hollow Jedi font and just throw it on there. It's like, and then these, I don't even know what, like it's the This Summer one, and then the Building Solo one. I don't know if it's the idea that making it 3-dimensional versus
very
like
thin 3-dimensional.
Versus
Star Wars has always been this 2D thing that kind of either comes at you or pulls away, and like that's just keep it at a distance, keep the same color. Just, I mean, the logo looks cool, the little tilted Solo.
Yeah.
Just make it 2D. Make it simple.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought it looked terrible.
So okay, you're okay with the way it looks. You just didn't like the 3D.
I'm
animation
okay with
part
the
of it.
poster one, the
Yeah.
2D version.
Yeah.
How it's done in the teaser is bad. I think I don't know. Did an intern at Lucasfilm just make that? And they're just like, that's good enough.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
just watched this tutorial, man. I got to do this.
I don't know. What, Russ, you okay?
Yeah, it could have been better. It could have
Yeah.
been better. It could have been better.
Okay.
It did look kind of like thrown together.
Yeah.
So what are we? Okay, so as we get close to wrapping up here, I mean, what are we? I mean, after finally seeing something, what are you most excited about now about the movie? Seeing in the movie, or what character or stories? What are you most excited to see, Russ?
For me, I'm interested in characters I don't know anything about. Woody Harrelson's character, Emilia Clarke's character, things like that, like how they fit into his life. Again, I'm not so much sold on what Solo's doing, more so than I'm a little more interested in what Lando's going to be like, because we know Lando as he is in the movies, but his backstory seems a little more interesting as far as because we don't get a lot of him, character development wise over the long haul of the movies, whereas we do with Han Solo. So I'm interested to see how he kind of fits in and how he interplays with Solo, in general. But it's mostly some of the new characters and the new story that I'm interested in.
Cody?
I definitely have to agree about Lando. I want to see Lando, a Star Wars story. Just a whole movie with Donald Glover. I've been watching a lot of Community lately.
Oh,
So I've been on
he's in that?
Yeah, I've been on a Donald Glover kick. And I don't know. He's just really fun, dude.
I heard Atlanta is a great series.
Atlanta is good.
Yeah.
I've seen the first season. I guess I don't know if the second season's even out yet, but
Yeah.
he's just a super creative guy.
Yes, he is.
Really good actor. I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see particularly his relationship with that crew that Woody Harrelson's character is putting together. Like, where does he fit into this? Is he just providing the ship? And then, Han's going to be the pilot, or what? Is he like a smuggler? I mean, he's a smuggler. So is he
thief.
a part of the crew in his own right, or what's his deal? And then I want to see really just what they do with Han's arc. I think, Russ, you kind of teed it up in the beginning of our conversation of, he starts A New Hope as this sort of jaded scoundrel, and then he becomes this hero that Casey was talking about. But like, what's the arc here? Does he start as a happy-go-lucky kid, and he throughout the film, like, people backstab him, and he gets into these bad situations, and it kind of hardens him and makes him sort of not trust people? Is Kira like this sort of noir style femme fatale that has been like his age-old friend, and then just throws him under the bus, or backstabs him? How does that affect him as a character? Just to see where they want to take his arc. It'd be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely see the movie ending on a down note, like, greatly. Like, all these people just leave on bad terms. Is how I see it happening.
Or like Rogue One, they all die.
They all have to die. Everybody's got to die.
At least Lando can't die.
Yeah, everybody but Lando and Han and Chewie. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Like, I have the fanboy in me is excited for certain checkbox to be checked, like the Sabacc game. Like, I want to see that. That's like one of the long things. Like, talking about like Sith and Jedi War, we have to see. Like, this is also one thing that we all wanted to see, the Sabacc game. So that, like, the Chewie and Han meet, like when they first meet, I'd love to see that, and hopefully it is similar to how it was in the Han Solo book. But I'm not holding them to anybody to that. So whatever they want to do. But still, just that debut of their relationship would be awesome to see. So certain things like that, like I hope they do this. I hope we see a lot of great stuff with Corellia. And of course the new planets, Mimban, and any other planet that we may see. If they do bring in the Maw cluster of black holes from Legends, and maybe they bring in the Maw installation, the Imperial installation from the Legends stuff. All that awesome material. That'd be cool if that happened. But again, I'm not holding them to it. But there's a lot of cool potential that I'm really excited to see if it happens or not. So there's that. And yeah, I am, and like Cody, I am interested in the arc of Han Solo because my favorite character, and very. As with many other Star Wars fans, I'm very he holds a special place. So I'm just excited to learn more about him. Hopefully I do learn something new about Han Solo, and that'll help me love him even more. So so I'm excited to see that story and that arc. And I am excited about Alden's performance as Han Solo because I think he's a good actor, and I think it'll be fun to see what a young Han Solo might be like, So I'm kind of trying to be optimistic here in this movie because I think it could still very well go the other way, and I could very well walk out of it thinking like this is not at all what I wanted it to be. But that's too selfish of me to see. I feel like to even say that. So we'll wait and see. But I am excited about it and excited to see what Ron Howard brings us.
Yeah, I think overall I'm just excited to mainly see. I want to see a lot of Han and Chewie together. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I want to see. I mean, and honestly, you do that, and a lot of the things that I think could be wrong with the movie, plots, characters, storyline, whatever. You throw in some like unexpected cameos, it'll make me forget about that stuff right away.
Like who?
Like a Boba Fett or a Jabba.
I was telling Cody it would be really cool. No attention needs to be drawn to it, but like after it comes out, the director's like, "Oh, y'all didn't notice this? Yeah, Obi-Wan's in this movie. They're on Tatooine. He's just like buying some fruit from a vendor. You didn't know that? You didn't see that? Oh, okay. Go watch it again."
Yeah, I think if you throw in little things like that, again, it'll just make me geek over it so much because it sounds like Jabba's inevitable, but. Mm-hmm. Bosk or a Dengar or somebody, some kind of bounty hunter. He runs into. I don't know, whatever it is. That would be pretty awesome. Yeah. So, Boba Fett might be too early. I don't know if he's got his
I don't know. Well,
his stuff
who
by
knows?
then. Who knows?
And just think if total fanboy of a moment of a movie, but instead of Dash Revan and his guys, if it was Boba Fett and the other bounty hunters there,
Yes.
like, come on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But
man.
that's like total just fan service.
Yeah, exactly.
What if it is Boba Fett?
Takes off his mask and another helmet underneath that helmet. Boba Fett.
Or he finds the Mandalorian gear later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
I'm trying this out. Does this look cool? No,
Actually,
I got something else.
That's actually an interesting theory.
If it's Boba Fett under there,
If it's Boba Fett,
yeah.
then he just hasn't found the
He's like-
Mandalorian armor yet.
He's just kind of
it's-
play testing a few different
Maybe,
costumes.
yeah.
We've all been there. It's dry. It's laundry day. Okay, he's got to
Yeah.
pull the B-string clothes
Yeah.
out. It's like
Did the dude have long hair, or was the hair a part of his costume?
I don't know. I have
Like,
to watch it again. I'm not
I
sure.
don't know.
I didn't know. So that's
But he'd be if this is 7 or 8 years, he'd be 10, 11, 12, 13. He'd be about 20 also.
Yeah, he's about
So
as
he's about
old.
the same age
About as old
as Han,
Solo.
right? Yeah.
I would say so.
Okay. All right. Last. The last question as we wrap up here. Do you need to see any more? Because we've asked this about
Yeah,
Last
yeah.
Jedi. We've asked this about
I mean,
Rogue One. Do you need to
Do I
see any more?
need to? No, I don't. Do I want to see more? Yes. I think I've made up my mind. Like, I'm gonna go see it. I'm on board at this point. I'm excited about it. I wasn't blown away by the trailer. I don't know how I could be more blown away than I am now. I don't know how my hype could increase. Honestly, at this point, I feel like I'm at a pretty good level. Because I'm still kind of like holding this somewhat at arm's length a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to I don't want to be
Get too
crushed.
over
yeah.
expect-
So
yeah.
I don't need anything more, but I would love to see more, of course.
I think recent Star Wars trailers, the second trailer has almost always been better. Now, The Force Awakens may be a slight anomaly. I think it was better because it was the Chewie We're Home trailer was the second one, right?
Was the second one. But
So-
then there was one after that, I thought, right? There was another
they
one
had a
after
third
that.
one.
Yeah, they had a
But
third
The
one.
Last Jedi, I think, the recent one that played during the football game, they had that moment at the end with Rey and Kylo. That's the moment where everybody was like, I got to figure out what happens. Like,
Yeah.
even if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, you're like, that looks cool. I need to know the answer now. But with Last Jedi, I was going to go regardless. I mean, I'm going to go see Han Solo, even if they didn't show a trailer ever. I'd still go see it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think general audiences, and even me, I think we need a bigger hype moment. And this goes back to my issue with the emotion and the ending of the trailer. Maybe if John Williams is currently working on that Han Solo theme that he's making for the movie, if that's done in time, you definitely put that on a trailer if it sounds good.
Yeah.
Because that could be something that really gets people excited and could be worked into a trailer. And like a hype moment, like the characters you were talking about, maybe it's got to be the villain. If Han is still so much of a risk and they're trying to hide how he actually looks and sounds in the trailers to keep people, from being too critical, I get that. That's fine.
Yeah.
I respect that. But give us something. If Boba Fett's in the movie, give us a quick shot at the end of the next trailer of just Boba Fett in the rain turning around or whatever.
Yeah.
Something like that. Like that would be oh crap.
Right.
We need the oh crap moment.
Oh, crap. Okay, yeah.
Oh crap!
Russ?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I don't need anything else. But if you're asking what would get me hyped even more, would be one of those, oh crap moments, something I didn't see coming, or something that's not as obvious as what's going on right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I probably would need something that's just going to be like, whoa, I didn't know that was going to be in there or something.
Mm-hmm.
Right now my expectations are, again, it's a fun sci-fi, action adventure movie, which is cool and all, but, yeah, I don't need to see anything else to get it to want to go see it. Much like Cody, I was going to go see it regardless if they showed a trailer or not. So yeah. The only thing I would need to see is something to just really got me a little more hyped for it.
Okay. I need to see more. I need to see more. I feel like I need to see more because traditionally we've gotten these 8 months out and that you've had time to digest it and watch it 100 times before the next trailer comes out. And then you've got that time of 3 or 4 months before the movie comes out. I feel like by the time I really wrap my head around what to expect, we're going to get another trailer, and I don't have a sense yet of truly how this is going to feel. You know, if there's going to be a comedy moments in
tone,
there,
yeah.
If it's going to be a little bit more Ron Howard and just adventurous, because I mean, according to a tweet just a week or two ago, they're still editing this thing. So I don't even know if they have the full movie done and the whole feel of the movie yet, right? So how can they even translate that to a trailer necessarily? So I do want to see, and I do need to see. Obviously, I don't need to see it to go see the film, but you know, I'll take my money right now. But I do think that I need to see something to get a little bit better sense of my expectation of what the feel of the movie is going to be. I don't really. I mean, of course, I'd love to know more about the plot and the story, maybe, but I don't need that. I just need to feel what the movie's going to be like, you know, a little bit more. So anyway, actually just noticed on that schematic of the Falcon, it actually says up there at top, it says modified. Right?
Yeah.
So anyway, I just noticed that. So it's a modified version.
When do you think we'll get, you said you wanted to see more, when do you think we'll get the next, if it's a behind the scenes or another trailer or whatever?
I think we're going to get one in March. I think it's going to be mid-March or so. Well, when is Infinity War? May, early May? May 4th? I think it's May the 4th, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think it is the first. Infinity War comes out before, and then does Deadpool come out before or after Han Solo now? I think it recently got moved. I don't know if it's after or before. It might be the week right before Han Solo.
Oh, really?
It was going to be after or later, and it just got moved. And I think this is after Disney is now in talks to buy Fox, which I think kind of helps because now it'll be the week right before, so it'll have big numbers opening night, but it's not the type of movie that people really would go see multiple times, I don't think. So it kind of opens up Han Solo to have, you know, no competition.
Wow, it's the week before. May 18. It's Deadpool 2.
Yeah. I think it's fine. I mean,
Yeah. But that's right in the middle of Infinity War and Han Solo.
yeah.
Infinity War is
it's a
May.
crazy month. I mean,
Infinity War is 11. Yeah, I think it's May 4th. It's Friday, May the 4th.
Cool.
So I think, so maybe it's possible we get the trailer. Maybe we don't get another trailer until April, and then it's obviously going to be attached to Infinity War. This is obviously going to be attached to Black Panther, which is next week. I think we're going to start getting more TV spots.
Yeah.
April, maybe late March, April. But anyway, I don't know. Posters look really good. I like what they're doing there.
the posters are very cool.
But they're very westerny again. They're very crimpled, you know, like wanted posters almost, you know.
Yeah.
So anyway. All right. Anybody got any last words or thoughts before we close out?
Actually, just really quick, kind of going back a topic or two, because before, as we started recording, I put out on an Instagram story if anybody had any questions for us. So one question, we kind of already half answered it from Brian C. Goins on Instagram. What era do you think the Game of Thrones creators will dabble in, and do you think they would be better on the Disney Pay channel? Interesting. So so I think we all feel like it's could lean towards Old Republic. One thing I was telling Cody earlier today at work was like, I love how the story group and the writers cling to one piece of information, kind of briefly mentioned in Star Wars, and they make a whole story or a whole movie about, like Rogue One, like one line in the crawl, and there's a whole movie. I think, you know, you take what Ki-Adi-Mundi, Sam Jackson, Mace Windu said in Phantom Menace about the Sith being extinct for millennia. You know, that's really all we have, and some stuff about Darth Bane a little bit. But take that little piece of nugget. You know, Sith being extinct for millennia. How did that happen? So that's the story. That's the movie that we need to see. Is how did leading up to that moment, and then what happened to make that moment occur. So I think those could be would definitely be the movies that the Game of Thrones guys would cover. But
well, and those Game of Thrones guys are like their expertise is in, you know, these larger, you know, 1.5 hour huge battle sequences. I think having something near the Great Sith War.
Yeah.
You've got a ton of Sith versus a ton of Jedi.
Yeah. And that is something we have not seen yet.
It would be
We've
really
seen it in games.
interesting.
You know, those movie trailers, those game trailers.
yeah,
We just had, so I feel like that you have to go somewhere we haven't been before, and you have to show something. Now, I do think, to your point, Casey, I do want to see a Darth Bane story.
Yeah.
Because Darth Bane is such a huge character, and he's officially canon. He's officially been somewhat shown in the Clone Wars,
Right.
and like, what awesome series of movies do you have with this Sith Jedi war, and it ends, and then you see the Darth Maul guy or Darth Bane be the one that escapes that, and kind of you see that, and that leads kind of directly into Episode 1 in a sense.
Yeah, another nugget too, like on Rebels, into season 2 when you're at Malachor, that Sith Temple and all those petrified, statued people, and they talk about the war happened there.
That's right.
That could have been part of it. So incorporate that. Like, how did that happen? So it's just all that I feel like you can do. And also, about being on the Disney Pay service. You kind of mentioned maybe it is like an original. It could very be like an original thing on there. That's the thing.
Could be.
I wonder.
I could see them doing that.
Yeah, because it just says a series of films. It doesn't say where it's going to be released.
Yeah.
So I wonder like how successful they're. Because they will, I'm sure they'll do that. They'll do it. It's like Disney original movies. They have only a Disney Channel.
Oh, yeah.
So like Star Wars original movies only on their pay service. Like how would that be successful in difference to like want stuff to be released in theaters?
Yeah,
I mean that could change not even just how Star Wars movies are released, but it could change just. I mean, it's already trending in a way that's kind of different. You've got the theater experience, which I'm still a big fan of because you can only get that at a theater. But this idea of Netflix and having movies come to streaming services. I mean, if Star Wars does it and it's successful, I mean, shoot, every studio is going to start doing more of that.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, Netflix is releasing movies and television shows on their platform every week.
I know.
There's something new every week. Disney could do that with Star Wars alone. You can have all these, like the Rian Johnson movies and the Game of Thrones guys movies. That can happen the same year, like 2 movies a year.
It
with
could.
those guys. So you get enough,
one in the theater, one on the platform.
Get enough creators. We could have a new Star Wars project every week on their app, on their platform. So that would be that excites me. But people are afraid of oversaturation. So I don't know. Well, that's unforeseeable.
I don't think I could be oversaturated. I don't know.
Not for me. No.
I think it would take a little longer, but I mean, like the superhero movies, people talked about superhero fatigue, but I mean, they're still the biggest blockbuster movies.
But I just keep thinking back that when I was in 1996 or 7, when I got wind that we're getting Episode 1, 18 years after Return of the Jedi, or was it 16 years? 16. You obviously you knew it was coming because, the other movies were 4, 5, and 6, so you knew 1, 2, and 3 were eventually coming. So once we got them, I'm telling you, 2005, when I walked out of Revenge of the Sith, I thought that was the last Star Wars movie I'm ever going to watch. Mm-hmm. We're up to 9 movies now, and our 10th one is coming in 4 months. Mm-hmm. And we've got another one, Episode 9, coming. It's like, I never thought we would get anywhere near this type amount of Star Wars in my lifetime. Mm-hmm. So I bring it on, man. I want as many movies as we can get, So I don't know. Russ, you still with us, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Last things I'll say real quick. I wanted to. Interesting enough, I wanted to we put out some polls out there. I just want to run through real quick. The other day, I put out what everybody thought of the first look at the Solo TV spot. 51% loved it, 23% liked it, 14% said it was okay, and then 12% said they didn't like it. So obviously, a majority of it are on board with it. This is interesting. I thought I put it out there. After the teaser came out, I asked what was everybody's thoughts on Alden. Is it Ehrenreich, right? Ehrenreich?
Yeah.
Yep.
What are everybody's initial thoughts on Ehrenreich? I had 4 options. I had great, good, not so much, and not my Han Solo. Yeah. This is so even. 30% are great, 27 are good, 21 not so much, and actually 22 not my Han Solo. So pretty even as far as it seems like everybody's on board with the movie. Mm-hmm. Maybe not so much Alden yet.
Yeah.
Anyway, All right. Thanks everybody for checking us out on this special edition. Thanks Russ for jumping on.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks Cody for making the drive,
Yeah, thanks for having me.
and Case just coming down the street.
Yep.
We are
cold.
Inside the Force, InsideTheForce.com. Got a lot of new content in the works right now. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And follow Russ at Director421 on Twitter. Cody Geiler is Cody Geiler at Twitter. He's boring. Kryptonian1138, Casey Cooley. I'm D Cunningham21. Follow us at Inside the Forest, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Thanks everybody for listening. For Russell,
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Cody,
See you around.
Case.
See you guys.
I guess no quote, right?
I can do a quote. I had one. Okay, here you go. Here, everybody, here. Yes, Lord Vader. We've reached the main power generators. The shields will be down in a moment. You may start your landing. There you go. Empire. There's still an Empire
we're still
month.
in Empire month.
Empire.
Yeah, that's
General
right.
Veers, people. Come on.
we're still in Empire month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love that line.
So we'll be back with our next episode. Thanks for listening, guys. May the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to Inside the Force, a Star Wars podcast hosted by David Cottingham and Casey Cooley. For more shows, additional content, articles, and the latest Star Wars news, please visit InsideTheForce.com. Inside the Force. For the Force, then all of us.